Aquarius. Stop. Don't scroll, don't skip, don't blink. Because the moment you found this video, something already started. And no, that's not a metaphor. Tonight is not normal. This is not just another date. This is not another horoscope. This is not another positive message. 99% of people alive right now will never hear what you're about to hear. But you did, and that alone should scare you. Because messages like this don't find people by accident. They find people by alignment. Something is activating after midnight tonight. It's quiet, it's subtle, it doesn't announce itself, but it's already moving, already shifting, already locking into place. And whether you're ready or not, it's coming toward you. This is not motivation. This is not astrology for entertainment. This is not something you casually listen to in the background. This is a final signal. If you're Aquarius, January 21st doesn't just pass. It decides, it draws a line, it splits timelines, it separates people permanently. One choice tonight changes your life forever. One reaction tonight either opens a door or seals it shut. There is no middle ground. And here's the part no one tells Aquarius. You don't get loud warnings. You don't get dramatic signs. Your signs come as silence, as pauses, as moments where everything feels suspended. That's where destiny hides. And tonight, that pause is happening. You may feel it already. A strange pressure in your chest, restlessness for no clear reason, the urge to check your phone, to re-watch something, to search for answers. That's not anxiety, that's activation. Because something you've been waiting for, without even realizing you were waiting, is about to move. But here's the dangerous part. If you dismiss this moment, if you treat tonight like any other night, if you let distractions steal your attention, you don't just miss an opportunity, you enter a harder timeline, one with more delays, more confusion, more emotional exhaustion. And Aquarius, you've already been through enough. The universe knows that. That's why this message came now. Not last week, not next month, not someday. Tonight, January 21st, because something behind the scenes has reached its limit. A contract is expiring. A karmic loop is breaking. A hidden decision has already been made about you. And no, this isn't about forcing anything. It's about how you respond when the moment arrives. Because the universe isn't asking you to chase. It's asking you to choose. Choose restraint over reaction. Choose awareness over impulse. Choose silence over explanation. And that's hard for Aquarius. Because you think deeply, you feel intensely, you notice everything. But tonight, less action creates more power. And here's the scariest part of all. The universe already knows what you're about to do. It knows if you'll react, if you'll stay quiet, if you'll trust, or if you'll doubt again. Nothing tonight is random. Even the person who crosses your mind, even the message that doesn't come, even the silence that feels uncomfortable, that's all part of it. And if you're hearing this right now, you're not here to watch. You're here to participate. Before we go any further, before the message deepens, before the twist reveals itself, I need you to lock your place. Comment right now, I am ready. Not once, not casually. Comment it with intention, because this isn't for everyone. And if you're still here after this first minute, Aquarius, you're already inside the shift, and what happens next will change your life forever. Aquarius, you weren't lucky. You weren't favored randomly. You weren't born at the right time. You were chosen. And the reason no one told you earlier is because you weren't supposed to know early. If you had known too soon, you would have doubted it. You would have explained it away. You might have sabotaged it. So the universe stayed quiet. But look at your life. You've felt it, haven't you? That strange sense of being separate, even when you're surrounded by people. Sudden isolation, People pulling away without warning, conversations ending with no closure, friendships fading, relationships collapsing for no clear reason, delays that made absolutely no sense. You did everything right and still waited. Doors closing right when you thought, this has to be it. And every time it happened, you asked the same question, what am I doing wrong? Here's the truth no one told you. You weren't being punished. You were being filtered. Because elevation requires separation. The universe doesn't elevate crowds. It elevates those who can stand alone without losing themselves. And Aquarius, that's always been you. You think differently. You see patterns others miss. You question what others accept. That makes you powerful, and power must be protected. So the universe removed distractions, removed weak connections, removed false timelines, not to hurt you, to prepare you. January 21st is not just a date. It's a checkpoint, a moment where the universe looks at you and asks, are you ready now? Not everyone passes this point. Some turn back to comfort. Some chase validation. Some react emotionally and reset the cycle. But some stay still. Some stay quiet. Some trust the process even when it feels unfair. But here's the twist. The sign that gets tested the hardest gets rewarded the loudest. And Aquarius, you've been tested in silence. No applause, no validation, no explanation. Just endurance, just resilience. Just you and your thoughts at 2 a.m. That's not accidental. Because Aquarius is ruled by future vision. You're not here to repeat cycles. You're here to break them. And cycle breakers always suffer first. Think back. Every time you were about to settle, something collapsed. Every time you lowered your standards, something felt wrong. Every time you tried to fit in, life pushed you back out. That wasn't rejection. That was redirection. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand apart. And that's lonely. That's why the testing felt cruel. But January 21st marks the moment where the testing stops and the confirmation begins. But here's another twist. The universe doesn't reward Aquarius loudly at first. It rewards you quietly, through sudden clarity, through internal certainty, through emotional detachment from what once controlled you. That's the real upgrade. When you no longer need approval, when you no longer chase, when you no longer explain, that's when doors reopen, and they reopen fast. Because the moment you stop seeking validation, the universe starts offering opportunity. That's why this message found you now. Not earlier, not later, now. Because the version of you watching this is finally strong enough to handle what's coming next. And make no mistake, what's coming is bigger than anything you lost. The isolation wasn't random. The delays weren't mistakes. The closed doors weren't failures. They were proof that you were being kept separate for a reason. And January 21st confirms it. This is the checkpoint. You don't need to do anything dramatic. You don't need to force anything. You just need to recognize who you are. Because once an Aquarius realizes they were chosen, everything changes. Your posture changes. Your energy changes. Your patience turns into confidence. And people feel it immediately. Lock this in right now. Comment, I was chosen. Don't overthink it, because the ones who hesitate are the ones who doubt. And Aquarius, you didn't survive all of that just to doubt now. Listen carefully. This part matters more than anything you've heard so far, because tonight carries risk, not physical danger, not accidents, not bad luck, spiritual danger, the kind that doesn't hurt your body. It hurts your timeline. Most Aquarius will miss this completely because it doesn't look dramatic. It looks normal. It looks like a text that irritates you, a comment that feels disrespectful, a memory that resurfaces, a person acting careless with your feelings. And in that moment, the universe pauses and watches, not to judge you, to measure you. If you argue tonight, you leak power. If you chase validation, you step backward. If you explain yourself, you shrink your authority. If you beg for closure, you reopen an expired contract. And that's why this is dangerous. Because Aquarius tends to react intellectually, emotionally, or morally. You want to be understood. You want things to make sense. You want truth to be acknowledged. But January 21st is not about justice. It's about restraint. Because silence tonight is not weakness. It's dominance. The universe isn't asking, "What do you want?" It's watching, "How do you respond when tested?" But here's the twist. The test doesn't come as chaos. It comes as familiar energy. The same kind of situation that used to pull you off balance. The same type of person who once had emotional access to you. The same pattern you thought you already healed from. And that's intentional. Because growth isn't proven when things are calm. It's proven when old triggers no longer control you. Tonight, someone may say something dismissive, ignore you, act indifferent. Push your emotional button and the urge will rise. To correct them, to defend yourself, to explain your intentions, to demand clarity. That urge is the trap. Because the moment you react emotionally, you signal to the universe that the lesson isn't complete. But here's another twist. The person who triggers you tonight is not your enemy. They are your final exam. They don't even know it. They are being used as a mirror to see how far you've actually come. And Aquarius, this test is subtle. It's not about being right. It's not about winning the argument. It's not about proving anything. It's about self-control. Pass it, and everything flips. Energy shifts instantly. Conversations change. Opportunities unblock. Support appears unexpectedly. Fail it, and the wait continues. Not as punishment, as repetition. Because the universe repeats lessons until they are mastered. And you don't want to repeat this one again. You've already waited long enough. But here's the scariest part. The silence you choose tonight creates noise tomorrow. People who ignored you will suddenly notice you. People who doubted you will feel uncertain around you. Because when an Aquarius stops reacting, they become unreadable. And unreadable energy is magnetic. The universe responds to restraint faster than it responds to effort. That's why January 21st is so critical. This night doesn't reward action. It rewards control. It rewards the Aquarius who can feel everything and still say nothing. And if that feels uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is proof you're standing at the edge of a shift. Final twist in this part. You don't need to block anyone. You don't need to confront anyone. You don't need to announce anything. Your silence is the message. Your restraint is the answer. And the universe is taking notes. Lock this decision right now. Comment, "I will not react." Say it like a vow, because the moment you choose restraint is the moment the timeline begins to change. And Aquarius, tonight decides whether you step forward or loop back again. Aquarius. After midnight tonight, something releases. Not outside of you, not in other people, not in circumstances, inside you. And you might not even realize it at first. It won't be loud. It won't announce itself. It won't feel like fireworks. It will feel like weight leaving. That heavy feeling you've been carrying, the pressure in your chest you can't explain, that strange sensation that something big is coming, but you don't know what. That's not anxiety. That's alignment. Because alignment always feels uncomfortable right before it locks in. You are stepping off an old timeline. A timeline built on waiting, explaining, hoping people would change, doubting your instincts. And once you step off a timeline, it collapses. Quietly. Suddenly, things that once hurt lose their grip. Old disappointments stop replaying. Old attachments weaken. Old fears lose authority. But here's the twist. This shift happens whether you believe in it or not. Belief is not required. Awareness is. Because the universe doesn't ask permission to realign you. It just does it when the timing is right. And the timing is right now. After midnight, you may notice you care less about things that once controlled you. You feel strangely calm about situations that used to stress you. You stop rehearsing conversations in your head. You stop needing answers. That's not numbness, that's detachment, and detachment is power. But here's another twist. Detachment doesn't mean you lost interest. It means the lesson completed. When a lesson completes, energy frees up, and that energy has to go somewhere. That's when movement begins. This is the window where unexpected messages arrive, conversations restart out of nowhere, money paths reopen, delayed payments appear, opportunities resurface, truth gets exposed, a hidden supporter steps forward, not because you chased it, because you finally let go. Aquarius, this is important. The universe cannot bring new things into hands, still gripping the past. That's why the release comes first. And it comes after midnight, because night is the space of transition. The old day ends. The new one hasn't begun yet. That space is where timelines change. But here's the part most people miss. You might feel slightly tired tonight. You might feel emotionally drained. You might want to be alone. That's not weakness. That's integration. Your nervous system is recalibrating. You're adjusting to a higher baseline of peace and clarity. And once that settles, life responds quickly because clarity attracts momentum. Another twist. The shift isn't about gaining something new. It's about no longer tolerating what drains you, and that changes everything. When you stop tolerating disrespect, confusion, mixed signals, emotional breadcrumbs, the universe stops offering them and replaces them with certainty, support, reciprocity, stability. That's how timelines change, not with chaos, with quiet decisions. After midnight, you may suddenly know something about a person, about a situation, about your next step. No overthinking, no spiraling, just knowing. That's alignment locking in. Final twist in this section. Some people will feel your shift before you say a word. They'll sense distance, authority, calm, and that will either pull them closer or push them away. Both outcomes are correct because alignment doesn't negotiate, it positions. Claim this moment now. Comment, I claim this shift, not for me, for you. Because when you name a shift, you anchor it, and Aquarius. After midnight, nothing you release was ever meant to stay anyway. Aquarius. You weren't blocked. You weren't cursed. You weren't overlooked. You weren't forgotten. You were buffered. And there's a big difference. A block stops you. A buffer holds you back on purpose until the conditions are right. If things had happened earlier, you would have trusted the wrong people. You would have handed access to those who couldn't protect your future. You would have settled for comfort instead of destiny. You would have played small because small felt safer back then. The delay wasn't denial, it was protection. And Aquarius, protection often feels cruel when you don't know what it's protecting you from. Think about it. Every time something almost worked out, it collapsed at the last second. Every time you thought, this is finally it, something slowed down. That wasn't bad timing. That was divine buffering. Because you were still becoming the version of yourself who could handle what's coming next. January 21st marks the end of that buffer, not because the world changed, but because you did. But here's the twist. The blessing coming next only fits the version of you that exists now. Not the you from last year, not the you who needed validation, not the you who tolerated confusion, not the you who overgave. The current you, the one who's tired of explaining, the one who sees patterns instantly, the one who doesn't chase anymore, the one who values peace over proving a point. That's the version the universe was waiting for. That's why the wait was painful, because pain stretches capacity, and Aquarius, capacity matters. You don't pour abundance into a container that cracks under pressure. You don't hand influence to someone who still doubts themselves. You don't unlock doors for someone who hasn't learned restraint. The delay shaped you. It sharpened your intuition. It taught you boundaries. It forced discernment. But here's another twist. If the delay hadn't happened, the success would have destroyed you. You would have burned out. You would have overextended. You would have trusted the wrong alliances. The universe didn't want you winning early. It wanted you winning permanently. That's why everything slowed down right when you were ready to give up. Because endurance was the final requirement. Aquarius, you didn't just survive the delay. You were trained by it. You learned how to sit with uncertainty, how to walk alone, how to stop needing permission, how to trust your inner compass. That training is priceless. And now, you can hold what's coming. You won't panic when momentum increases. You won't sabotage when attention comes. You won't settle when better options appear, because the delay upgraded your nervous system. But here's the part most people don't realize. Delays end quietly. There's no announcement, no countdown, no warning. One day you're waiting. The next day, you're positioned. That's what January 21st represents. Not fireworks, placement. You're being placed in rooms you don't need to beg to enter, in conversations where your words carry weight, in situations where your presence is enough. And once placement happens, movement is fast, very fast, because the buffering phase already did the heavy lifting. Final twist in this section, you don't have to convince yourself that you're ready. The fact that you're still standing after everything you've endured is the proof. The universe doesn't test people it plans to discard. It tests people it plans to trust with more. And Aquarius, you're being trusted now. Lock this in comment. I am ready to receive. Say it without doubt. Say it without fear. Because readiness isn't about confidence. It's about capacity. And you've built that through patience, pain, and persistence. The delay is over. What comes next was never meant for the old you anyway. Aquarius, this part is critical because what you do tonight determines how clean the shift becomes. And I need you to hear this clearly. Do not overdo anything tonight. No forcing, no dramatic decisions, no emotional speeches, no long explanations, no late-night spirals. Tonight is not about action. It's about alignment. Instead, do 3 simple things. Stay quiet. Stay observant. Stay grounded. Silence tonight is not avoidance. It's command. Because when an Aquarius goes quiet, energy reorganizes around them. You don't need to chase the miracle. You need to make space for it. And space is created through restraint. But here's the twist. Most people think miracles arrive loudly. They expect a dramatic phone call, a sudden emotional breakthrough, a big external sign. That's not how real miracles arrive. Miracles arrive clear mind, clear heart, clear direction, and clarity always comes after stillness. That's why tonight matters. This is not the night to prove anything. This is not the night to confront anyone. This is not the night to seek reassurance. The universe already heard you. Now it's watching whether you trust it enough to rest. Before you sleep tonight, do one thing, just one. Take 30 seconds, sit or lie down comfortably. No phone, no distractions. And say this quietly, not out loud for performance, but softly, with intention. I release what no longer serves me. I accept the timeline meant for me. That's it. No extra words, no bargaining, no additions, because power comes from precision. But here's another twist. When you say this, don't imagine something specific. Don't picture a person. Don't force an outcome. Don't attach a timeline. Let the universe decide the form. Your job is surrender. The universe's job is delivery. And Aquarius, this is hard for you because you like understanding, you like logic, you like seeing the whole picture. But miracles don't need your understanding. They need your permission. And permission comes through release. Tonight, you may notice your thoughts slow down, your body relaxes unexpectedly, a sense of relief without explanation. That's the signal, that's energy realigning. But here's the part most people miss. The miracle doesn't always show up immediately. Sometimes it shows up as better sleep, a calmer morning, less emotional attachment, a sudden knowing of what to do next. And those changes are not small, they are foundational. Because once your nervous system calms, your intuition gets louder. And intuition is how Aquarius receives guidance. You'll wake up different, not hyped, not emotional, different, calmer, certain, detached from what once controlled you. And detachment is not indifference, it's sovereignty. When something no longer controls you, it loses power over your timeline. That's power returning. But here's the final twist in this part. The miracle isn't something being added to your life. It's something losing its hold on you. A fear, a dependency, an emotional loop, an attachment to outcome. Once that grip releases, everything else flows naturally. You won't have to chase. You won't have to beg. You won't have to convince. The right people lean in. The right doors open. The right opportunities align. Because clarity attracts alignment faster than effort ever could. Tonight is about locking that clarity in. So keep it simple. No drama, no announcements, no emotional dumping, just presence, just trust, just stillness. Aquarius, you've done enough. The work is complete. Now let the universe respond. Aquarius, you didn't search for this. You didn't plan to watch this. You didn't randomly click. This video found you. And deep down, you already know that. Because January 21st is not just another date. It's a line in the sand. A moment where timelines separate quietly. Without announcements, without warnings, without second chances. Before tonight, you were standing between versions of yourself. After tonight, only one version moves forward. And here's the truth most people never realize. The universe does not chase people, it calls them. And if you're still here at this point in the video, 25, 26, 27 minutes in, you answered the call. After tonight, you stop chasing what isn't aligned. You stop explaining yourself to people who never listened. You stop doubting instincts that were right all along. Something settles inside you, a calm certainty, a grounded confidence, a quiet authority. You won't need to announce it. People will feel your shift before you ever say a word. They'll notice. You respond less, you explain less, you tolerate less, you move differently, and some will be uncomfortable with that. Final twist. Not everyone watching this video will understand this message. Some will feel confused. Some will feel skeptical. Some will feel nothing at all. That's not a coincidence. Messages like this aren't meant for everyone. They're meant for key holders. And if you're still here at 30 minutes, Aquarius, you're not just an Aquarius. You're someone who carries access. Access to insight. Access to future paths. Access to decisions that change outcomes. Key holders don't force doors. They wait for the lock to turn. Tonight, the lock turns. But here's the most important part. Once a timeline changes, there is no going back. You won't resonate with the same people. You won't tolerate the same dynamics. You won't accept the same confusion. And that's not arrogance. That's alignment. You didn't lose anyone. You outgrew the version of yourself that needed them. And that's why the universe waited until you were ready to walk forward without dragging the past behind you. January 21st, is confirmation. Not hope, not possibility, confirmation. That's why this feels different. That's why this didn't sound like motivation. Because confirmation doesn't hype you up. It grounds you. You'll notice it in the coming days. Less urgency, less anxiety, less emotional noise, more clarity, more discernment, more peace. And peace is the loudest sign that you're finally aligned. Final twist. Read this carefully. The miracle you've been waiting for is not something you chase. It's something that starts chasing you once you stop chasing everything else. That's what tonight activates. And when that happens, opportunities appear naturally. Support shows up unexpectedly. Truth reveals itself without force. You won't have to convince anyone of your worth. The right ones will already know. Final action. Do not skip this comment one last time. The timeline has changed. Type it slowly, with intention, because words anchor decisions. And this comment is not for the algorithm alone. It's a declaration. Once you post it, close the app. Don't keep scrolling. Don't dilute the energy. Don't overthink. Let tonight do its work. Aquarius, this was never about luck. This was about timing. And the timing is now.